There's a 4-letter word that gets tossed around in the NFL. When a player fails to live up to his draft slot, that epitaph gets thrown around with reckless abandon. And I'm not talking about the F word. But as quickly as that awful label gets applied, it's still possible to shrug it off and start anew. Don't believe me? These guys did it. Here are near busts who saved their careers, and that's coming up right after this. It's literally impossible to go a minute these days without hearing about some new cryptocurrency or some wanker getting rich off of Bitcoin. You and I want to get in on that action, but we don't know where to start. Well, I have a solution for you, and it can be done right on your phone. Titan built an app that brings your money to an elite investment firm and is accessible for all income levels. And guess what? You can get directly into crypto right on Titan. Even better, you get unparalleled access to your investment manager so you know exactly what's going on with your money and how your dollars are being managed. The app is more than just crypto. You can diversify and take steadier options if you like. You're in control here. This is not an ETF or mutual fund, and this unique strategy is what has led Titan to outperform all major indexes and robo-advisors since their inception. And all it takes is $100 to get started on your journey towards wealth and savvy investing. So after this video, head on over to titan.com/5points and get your first 3 months of expert investment management for 0 fees. You heard that right. Titan.com/5points for 3 months free. Before he won a pair of Super Bowls with the Raiders, Jim Plunkett was a Heisman Trophy winning former #1 overall pick of the Boston Patriots in 1971. Coming out of Stanford, former UCLA coach Tom Protho called Plunkett the best quarterback pro prospect he'd ever seen. It turned out Plunkett was not the best quarterback the Patriots had ever seen. Yeah, that was Cam Newton. In 5 seasons, Plunkett never engineered a winning season, leading the NFL in interceptions. In 1974, the Patriots dealt him back west to San Francisco, where things hardly got better. 2 years, 30 interceptions later, and still no winning record. That all changed when Plunkett was released from San Francisco and signed with the Oakland Raiders. After spending 2 years on the bench, the former Heisman Trophy winner got his chance in Week 5 of the 1980 season and never looked back. That year, Plunkett went 9-2 down the stretch and led the Raiders to the Super Bowl, where they defeated the Philadelphia Eagles thanks to 3 touchdown passes from Plunkett, who was named Super Bowl MVP. 3 years later, Plunkett and the Raiders returned to the Super Bowl and, as underdogs, shocked the NFL by beating the defending champion Redskins by a score of 38-9. Marcus Allen did the heavy lifting, but Plunkett outplayed Joe Theismann, who he had also beaten out for the Heisman back in 1970. Theismann changed the pronunciation of his last name to rhyme with Heisman, and he still did not win the trophy. A story for another day. To this day, Jim Plunkett is the only quarterback to have won multiple Super Bowls and not make the Hall of Fame. Y'all seriously think Eli's not a Hall of Famer? We can fight about that. But Plunkett is decidedly not a bust.
And just in case y'all not gonna decide to do the right thing, if y'all got a crew, you got to have a fall guy in the crew.
This might be shocking, but Chris Carter didn't record a 1,000-yard receiving season until his 7th year in the league at age 28. 3 years before, he had joined the Minnesota Vikings after being cast off by the Eagles. Carter was a 4th-round pick in the '87 supplemental draft by Philly, but he showed enormous promise in his early years. Coming out of Ohio State, Carter had the requisite size, great hands, and the route-running ability to make him an elite wideout. In his first 3 seasons in Philly, Carter put up fairly modest numbers, catching fewer than 100 passes in 41 games, but becoming a reliable red zone target. Still, given his ability, Carter was underachieving. And there was a big reason for that. While he was an Eagle, Carter was addicted to drugs like ecstasy, cocaine, and weed, that nasty marijuana, as well as having a drinking problem. The Eagles were well aware, and head coach Buddy Ryan cut him after the preseason in 1990. I guess he didn't have an actual fall guy that time. The Vikings picked up Carter off of waivers at the start of the 1990 season. The transaction only cost the team $100, and it was the best $100 Minnesota ever spent. Certainly better than whatever they paid Blair Walsh. In his first game against his old team, Carter put up 151 yards and a touchdown, showing them what he was fully capable of. Carter was a Viking for 12 years, and from 1993 to 2000, Carter racked up 1,000 yards and at least 7 touchdowns per season. Alongside Randy Moss in 1998, the two became the most lethal receiving duo in the NFL, coming within a missed field goal of advancing to the Super Bowl. This one's rough for you Minnesota fans. Carter was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2013, an honor well deserved, but without the Eagles cutting ties, it might have never happened. James Farrier had 2 careers in the NFL. We know about the second one. Farrier played a decade with the Pittsburgh Steelers, racking up 2 Super Bowls, a second-team All-Pro, and a pair of Super Bowl rings. But Farrier had a separate career before the glory he achieved in the Steel City. Coming out of UVA in 1996, Farrier was an all-ACC middle linebacker, a do-it-all player who stopped the run, rushed the passer, and picked off passes left and right. He was an easy top 10 prospect, and the Jets made him the 8th overall pick in 1997. Unfortunately, Farrier's production did not match his draft slot, to say the least. Farrier had been moved to outside linebacker, and in his first 4 seasons with Gang Green, he underwhelmed, never racking up more than 52 solo tackles in a season and intercepting just a single pass in 60 games. That all changed in 2001, 5 years into the league. Farrier finally found his stride. That season he made over 100 solo tackles, picked off 2 passes, and swatted down 9 more. The Jets, who do Jet things, were unconvinced and let Farrier walk in free agency. They couldn't have made a worse decision. Actually, they probably could. This is the Jets we're talking about. Adam Gase. So the Jets passed on Farrier, and believe it or not, so did almost every other team. Pittsburgh was actually the only opportunity I had, Farrier said after his career. Coach Cowa, they extended an offer to me. That was pretty much the only thing I had going for me at the time, and that's how you pronounce Coach Cowa. The Steelers locked him up with a 3-year deal and moved Farrier back to inside linebacker, his natural position, and he never looked back. In 10 years, Farrier had 12 interceptions, 30 sacks, and 12 forced fumbles. He was a staple of 2 dominant defenses. Farrier's 2 careers are a lesson in maximizing your players' talent and letting them play to their strengths. The Jets couldn't do it, and the Steelers did. I was just pausing for dramatic effect. And now for our final bust to serviceable player. In the 2012 draft, Ryan Tannehill was the 3rd quarterback selected, overshadowed by Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III. Those 2 are gone from the league, and it's Tannehill who's in the midst of his age 33 season, playing the best football of his career. When the Tennessee Titans acquired Tannehill for a 4th and 7th round pick, he had worn out his welcome in Miami after 7 seasons. Despite some solid numbers, Tannehill had never started a playoff game for the Dolphins and had missed 24 games in his last 3 seasons. To the Titans, he was an insurance policy should Marcus Mariota go down. It wasn't an injury that thrust Tannehill into the starting lineup. It was Marcus Mariota's poor play. The Titans were just 2-4 when Ryan was handed the keys to the offense. Since week 7 of that season, Tannehill has compiled a 19-9 record as a starter and thrown 56 touchdown passes to just 7 interceptions. Is that math right? That's what changed for Tannehill. There are a few reasons. The 33-year-old found success 8 years into his career. He's enjoyed good health in Tennessee. He's been surrounded by a tremendous supporting cast named Derrick Henry, and he's been free of Adam Gase. I should just end the video now. Tannehill blossomed outside of Miami, finally reaching the potential he had been clawing at for so many years, and it was rewarded in the form of a 4-year, $118 million deal to stay in Nash Vegas. Sam Darnold has dollar signs in his eyes. So the next time you hear that 4-letter word get tossed around, just know for some players not named Jamarcus Russell, it's only temporary.
Sure that football as he runs it out.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this film. Please do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting videos on sports. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.